Pickle. Dave Campbell's Texas Football is the official rankings provider of the Associated Press for the Texas high school football rankings. These are the official Texas high school football state rankings. We will, of course, roll these out every Monday here on TexasFootball.com. Subscribers can see them early and not wait. They can get them on Monday morning. But without further ado, these are technically the Week 2 rankings, but here are the official Dave Campbell's Texas Football Associated Press Texas High School Football State Rankings for Week 2 of the Texas High School Football season. We start in Class 6A, where fair amount of change here. Austin, Westlake, Katy, Galena Park, North Shore, South Lake Carroll and Galena Park, North Shore, all winners. Up a spot is Umbla Atascocita, a team that we've got very, very high hopes for. They were a team that looked awfully good in their opener, so they move up a spot. A little bit of churn there at the bottom. We had some changes around there, but one thing to keep an eye on elsewhere as far as movers are concerned. Let's see. Duncanville drops from 9 to 5. From 5 to 9, rather, with their loss to Mater Dei. Also, Arlington Martin, with their loss to Lake Travis, drops from 9 to 14. Up a couple of key movers. Converse Judson up 6 spots to number 17 with their win over DeSoto. Cibolo Steel up 3 spots there. 2 new comers to the rankings. Number 22, Fort Bend Ridgepoint, 41-13 win over Pearland. Very impressive. They check in at number 22. And number 24, Clear Falls, their 31-7 win over Pearland Dawson. Impressive enough to get them up into the top 10 or top 25. To 5A we go, where 5A Division 1. Okay, 5A Division 1 was chaos, guys. I'm just going to be honest. 5A Division 1 was a little bit of chaos, and it's hard to parse. So let's talk through it a little bit, okay? We had 5 teams that lost in the top 10 last week. College Station moves up with their really impressive win over Hutter. They're up to number 2. We drop Manville 1 spot with their 3-point loss to Dickinson. Highland Park stays the same at number 4. I think that losing to a top 3 South Lake Carroll team probably keeps you in the top 5, in my opinion. Colleyville Heritage, big mover. Their impressive win on Valley Sports Southwest over Grapevine moves them up to number 5. Frisco Lone Star's big win over San Antonio Cornerstone moves them up to number 6. Longview drops from number 5 to number 7 with their blowout loss to Longview. Corpus Christi Veterans Memorial drops a spot as they had to survive Alice. New to the rankings, Amarillo Tascosa, big win over Abilene. They check in at number 9. Cedar Park drops from number 6 to number 10 with their big loss to 6A Austin Vandergrift. Over in 5A Division 2 is much more chalky. Top 3 were all winners: Aledo, Fort Bend Marshall, and Lucas Lovejoy. Liberty Hill, I don't know if you saw this one. They lose their opener to Killeen Ellison 12-7. We drop them from 4 to 10. Lubbock Cooper, Huntsville is, despite being idle, gets to move up a spot. Lubbock Cooper up a spot. Ennis up a spot. Leander Rouse up 2 spots. And new to the rankings, A&M Consolidated, who check in at number 8 with a blowout win over Waco University. Let's go to 4A in Texas high school football rankings, where we will find a little bit of chalk here, but we did lose the number 3 team in the state, dropping out of the rankings as Melissa loses to Salina. As a result, Argyle and Corpus Christi Callan remained in 1 and 2. Everyone else moves up a spot. El Campo, Waco La Vega, Austin LBJ, and Paris each up a spot. Kilgore up 2 spots with a win over Nacogdoches. Midlothian Heritage up 2 spots with a win over Everman. And 2 newcomers to the rankings. Number 9, Tyler Chapel Hill checks in with their big win over Greenville. And Corpus Christi Miller back into the top 10 with a win over Corpus Christi Ray. Over in 4A Division 2, a little bit of chalk here. Western Stark drops a tough one to Nederland. That drops them from number 6 to 4. Elsewhere, everything else relatively unchanged. Carthage, Gilmore, Wimberley, Pleasant Grove, and Salina round out the top 5. Sinton up a spot to number 10. New to the rankings, Cuero, the Gobblers, the number 10 team in Dave Campbell's Texas football, thanks to their big win over Lavernia. Let's check in over at 3A Pickle, where the number 3 team in the state, Gladewater, loses to 4A Gilmore. We drop them from number 3 to number 5. The big mover for me was Grandview. Grandview jumps from number 7 to number 4 by once again victimizing poor Malakoff. That Malakoff should be 0-1, by the way, on that graphic. That's my bad. I sent that to you wrong. Malakoff drops from number 5 to number 7. Pilot Point up a spot with a win over Plainview, Oklahoma. Lorena down 1 spot with a narrow loss to number 1 in 3A Division 2. 2 Franklin. And new to the rankings, the number 10 Yoakum Bulldogs, winners over Palacios 53-6. 3A Division 2 now, where the top 7 are actually unchanged, and then it's absolute chaos. Franklin, Gunner, Canadian, Wascom, Newton, Childress, and Holiday, all winners, all very impressive, and 3 newcomers at the bottom of the rankings. Number 8 West Rusk, number 9 Abernathy, and number 10 Poth. Check in the 3A Division 2 rankings. To number 2 we go, where top 7 chalky. Refugio, Shiner, Timpson, Crawford, Cisco, Mason, and New Deal, all winners. They remain the same, 1 through 7. Hawley up a spot with their win over Roscoe. Lindsay up a spot with their big win over Era. They were one of the highest scoring teams of the state this week, 71-12. And new to the rankings, big win over Joaquin, the Beckville Bearcats, the number 10 team in 2A Division 1. Over to 2A Division 2 we go, where a little bit of change up here. Wellington loses to Duncan, Oklahoma. 26-16. We dropped them from number 3 to number 2. Defending champ Windthorst is the beneficiary there. They leapfrog them. Everything else relatively the same. Vega moves up a spot with their win over Amarillo Highland Park. And new to the rankings, the El Dorado Eagles, who beat San Saba Armadillos 42-20 to check in at the top 10 there at the number 10 spot. To 6-man football we go, where there was a few different changes here because they all kind of played each other. Yeah. May was awfully impressive with their win over Borden County, 51-6. They move up a spot while Borden County drops from 2 to number 4. Rankin defeats defending 1A Division 2 state champion Balmaray. That jumps them up to number 3 as well. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, all the same. Jonesboro, Blum, Lakey, Abbott, and Spring Lake Earth. 1A Division 2, we also had a similar change here. Richland Springs drops a bit of a head-scratcher to Marble Falls Faith. We dropped them from number 2 to number 3. Strawn is the beneficiary there. They move up after their win over White Deer. Balmaray drops from number 4 to number 5 with their loss to Rankin. Groom drops from number 5 to number 7 with their loss to Happy. But the top 10 is the same 10 teams, just a little bit of shuffle. To the private school ranks, where there's a big shakeup in the private school ranks. Number 1 and number 2 remain the same, Austin Regents and Dallas Parish Episcopal. But then we bump up Dallas Christian to number 3 after their win over Bishop Lynch, and 2 newcomers, Plano Prestonwood into the rankings with a win over Frisco Legacy Christian, and Houston Kincaid. There was no SPC championship last year, but they did go undefeated, and they are off with a bang with a big win over number 3 Houston Second Baptist, 21-14. They are now number 5 in Dave Campbell's Texas football. And the 11-man or the 6-man ranks, total chaos. Number 1 Fredericksburg Heritage loses to San Marcos Academy, 44-32. Congratulations to San Marcos Academy. That drops them from number 1 to number 4. The new number 1 team in the private school ranks, Waco Live Oak up to number 2. Lubbock Kingdom Prep, by being idle, moves up 2 spots. Austin Veritas beat Williamson County Homeschool. New to the rankings, number 5, the Texas School for the Deaf. Big winners over Joshua Johnson County, 57-40. They enter the top 5. So you can find all of these rankings at texasfootball.com/rankings. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, of course, the official Texas high school football rankings provider of the Associated Press.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on texasfootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to texasfootball.com/subscribe.